Hey everybody, today's video is about chronic pain and depression. Now before I even get into the video, I want you to know that there are two ways that this can work. Number one being that depression itself can lead to chronic pain. You know how we've talked before about psychosomatic symptoms where something that's happening mentally for us can manifest itself physically? Like if any of you have been depressed or had a really hard time, you know how mental illness can affect us physically, meaning that we'll be achy, we'll be really tired, it'll be hard to get out of bed. Not to mention any of us who've had panic attacks or anxiety, you can feel it physically, right? Our heart may be racing, we may struggle to breathe fully and feel like we're suffocating, we may be sweaty, our palms can be sweaty. A lot of different things that happen to us mentally can manifest themselves physically, and one of those is pain and aches, and depression can manifest itself that way. But what I want to talk more about today is the other version, where because we have chronic pain, we then have depression, and how those two are linked. And the truth about it is, and I know this is going to sound like a really simplistic type of video, and as always, it's not just me sharing information to you. I want you to share information with the community. Let us know in the comments how it feels for you, how this happened for you, and what things you've done to feel better. Because the truth about it is that imagine if we're in chronic pain. A lot of people are told from doctors that they're making it up. If they can't find a specific trigger or reason for the pain, we're told that it's not happening and that it's psychosomatic, that we're doing it in our head. Imagine how that would feel if you know you're feeling the pain, yet you go to a professional to get help and you're kind of turned away or dismissed, or even worse, like made to feel embarrassed about the fact that you even went. Those are all terrible things, but I've heard from a lot of you that that happens a lot. It's very common. And so that's just one of the things I want to talk about. The other thing is the fact that if we have chronic pain or if we have any chronic illness, that can lead to a lot of different struggles. That can make it financially difficult because trust me, anything that Sean and I've had happen to us medically has ended up costing us quite a lot of money. Even though we have insurance, it somehow doesn't cover a certain percentage, and that can be thousands and thousands of dollars. And so financially, it can be extremely stressful. Chronic pain can also make sleep really difficult, and I don't think that we talk enough about how important sleep is, but it can really affect our ability to concentrate, function, have relationships, because we can be extremely irritable, and it can make it hard for us to go about our day in general. And for more information about sleep and the importance, I'll link a video I did in the description so you can learn more. Also, chronic pain can lead to difficulties at work or school. Imagine if you're in pain constantly, more days than not. How are you going to be able to do your work with either at work or school and get anything done? I know personally, if I'm in any kind of pain, whether it's like a pulled muscle or if I'm extremely sick, I really cannot concentrate and I can't get anything done. And if I do, it's at a much slower pace, and I would definitely be behind schedule if someone was holding me accountable to certain deadlines, whether it be tests or presentations, etc. And also, chronic pain can lead to a lot of different legal issues. I've heard from many of you that you're working really hard to get disability or to get some of the medical issues covered because your insurance is saying they don't, and you read through your paperwork and you realize that they should have. And so legal issues can come along with this as well. And back to the original point that I made, where a lot of you told me that you go to get help and then you're told that you're making it up or that they don't know where it's coming from. This can lead to a lot of low self-esteem or low self-confidence. I've heard from many of you that going through this and dealing with chronic pain or chronic illness just makes us feel like shit. It makes us feel worse. It ruins our relationships because it's hard for us to do all the things that we used to be able to do. And people in our lives don't always know how to support, and they don't always seek to understand. And in the end, that can just make us feel really bad about ourselves. But luckily, there are things that we can do to get better. Hooray! And the first thing that I work with my clients on is grieving the loss. And I know that this sounds really silly because a lot of times people just attribute grief to when someone passes away in our life. But grief can be applied to a lot of different things. And when it comes to any chronic illness or pain, I think it's important for us to grieve the loss of what a quote-unquote normal life looked like. I did a video a long time ago that I'm going to link at the end of this video, as well as in the description, with Hank Green talking about his chronic illness and how for him, he had to put a lot of time and effort into grieving what normal was, because he'd had a planned life of I'm going to do this, this, this. These are the things that I'm able to do. But having something like chronic pain or chronic illness can change that. And something that he recommends in the video is that instead of focusing on the things that you can't do, focus on the things that you can and what things you want to do now. And I think that that is such amazing advice. And also there are treatment centers that work with both, meaning they work with the depression and they work with the chronic pain or chronic illness. There are a lot of pain treatment centers out there. However, I know and I've heard from a lot of you that they're hard to get into. They can be very expensive. Some don't take insurances. There can be a lot of things going on. So you may have to divide up your issues and treat them separately to get the help that you need. And that could mean that you see a therapist like myself, ta-da, and we do talk therapy. We work on that grief process. We work on focusing on the positive and can do some CBT techniques to help challenge any of that negative or faulty thinking that we have so that we can feel and think more positively. And also medication has been shown to be extremely helpful for people. Not only pain management medication, that's a mouthful, but also SSRIs and SNRIs, because at the end of the day, we're talking about depression. And if you're wanting to look into a program, they're called pain rehabilitation programs. The Mayo Clinic has a great one. They have a great website with a lot of additional information that I'll link in the description, but I would encourage you to reach out to your local hospital because many of them know which ones are available in your area, and they can also refer you to pain groups. I know that sounds crazy. There are a ton of groups for pain management patients because it is so extremely difficult and it is so isolating. This helps us realize that we're not alone. What we're feeling, what we're going through is completely normal, and that there are people out there and there is help available. I think that it's really important for us to remember that. There are tons of people, resources, professionals out there wanting to help you get through this so that you can feel better. The overall message that I want you to hear with this video is that you're not alone and it can get better. When it comes to chronic pain and chronic illness, I find that sometimes we have to shout to be heard, but know that there are professionals out there who can help. We may just have to ask a few times to get them to hear us and to get them to give us the treatment that we need. If you're new to my channel, click here to subscribe. I put out videos twice a week. Make sure you turn your notifications on. On the homepage, it's like a little bell, bing, and you hit that bell so that you know when I put one up and you don't miss it. And I will see you next time. Bye.